Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Distance Learning 101. I'm Greg Ellis with the TPSD Communications Department, and I'm honored today to be joined by Anna Taylor of ECEC. And what do you have in store for us today?
Well, today you're going to be kind of like my student.
Oh no, here we go again.
And we're going to do a read aloud with the tiny seed.
Awesome.
So the first thing that we'll do is we're going to listen to a video that talks about the needs of the plant.
Okay.
And so there are 5 different things that a plant needs to live.
So would be an actual lesson that you would have for your students under normal circumstances?
Yes.
Okay.
We would do this, and we always have an opening to get them engaged. You would want to put some movement to these.
Okay.
Because with the little learners, it's very important to get they're all kinesthetic learners, which means they learn through movement.
Right.
And so it's very important to get them up and moving so they can retain that information.
And I'm going to be humming this the rest of the day.
It's pretty catchy.
Definitely in the South, and you can take a 1-syllable word and make it multiple syllables.
Yes, yes. So that's our video. So we would review those things with our students. All right, what are the 5 things that the plant needs to live? We need water, soil, light, space, and air.
You didn't tell me there was an order. All the pressure.
I just went by the order in the song. All right. So once we've done all that and we've talked about what a plant needs, we might even make an anchor chart in our classroom.
Okay.
But we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start reading our book. One thing that's very important while you're reading a book to a younger child or for even older children is to ask higher order thinking questions. Like these are open-ended questions.
Okay.
Questions they can't answer with yes and no. It helps them connect to the text. It helps to connect to real world problems when they run into them, and
it expands.
It expands
they really have to think it out.
Right.
Of course, these kids can't read yet.
No,
is that correct?
That's correct. We have some that are beginning to read, but none that could just pick this book up and read it fluently.
So mom and dad are really going to have to be very involved and helpful with these type of lessons.
Right.
Great.
So we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll stop and I'll model some of those higher order thinking questions as we read.
Perfect.
So the title is The Tiny Seed, and the author and the illustrator are both Eric Carle.
Okay.
And we'll talk about his cool illustrations a little bit later in the lesson. So this is the tiny seed. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? Greg, where do you think they're going?
Hopefully into the ground somewhere the wind's going to carry them.
I hope so too. Well, let's see.
I like the color of the book.
Yes, it's very pretty colors. One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burns it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. So you see the seed that got too close to the sun. Another seed lands on a tall, icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. So let's look at this. It says that it lands on an icy mountain, and the seed can't grow. Why do you think the seed can't grow?
Well, several reasons. It's too cold. Mm-hmm. It's not in soil. It's in ice.
Exactly. So, and we know by our song, one of those needs of a plant is soil.
It has plenty of space.
It has plenty of space, and
a little bit of air.
And a little bit of air.
Tight air.
Exactly. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The other sail on with the wind. But the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It's hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. All right, let's think about our needs of the plant. Now, why can't this seed grow that landed in the desert?
It's not going to get much water, and it's mostly sand. Although things can grow in the sand, but I would think it's the water.
Right, there's no water. There's not much water in the desert.
Except for the cacti.
Right. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes up and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It's so small that the bird does not see it. The seed was lucky. Now it's winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. You can see they settle down into some soil. They look just as if they're going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse does not see it.
I'm starting to see what's the tiny seed's almost like Rudolph here. He's got
You're
a big role to play.
He does. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow is melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by and the sun shines. Rain falls and the seeds grow so round and full they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They're plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. There's another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It's a big fat weed. And it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants. And that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant.
So we're going to call this the dandelion.
Yes, this is the big fat weed. And look, it's taken the space away. It's taken the rain away. It's taken the light away. So that's three needs of the plant that weed is taken from that one. It can't live.
So it's bullying the little.
It's a bully. Yeah, weeds are bullies in the garden. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun in springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh no, he breaks one. Now it can't grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. But what's happening? First, there are footsteps. Then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. What do you think's fixing to happen?
Maybe it's going to give to their mother to put in a vase.
Have you ever done that before?
All the time. Or a girlfriend, I guess I should.
A boy has picked a flower to give to a friend. Has anybody ever given you, or have you given anybody a flower? Both. How does that make you feel? Happy?
Happy, yeah.
All
Love
right.
the smell of a good flower.
It's so nice to get flowers. It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and it doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It's taller than the trees. It's taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It's a giant flower.
It's a tower flower.
It is a giant tower flower. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They've never seen such a big and beautiful flower. The end. Oh, no, it's not the end. I forgot, there's one more page. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground.
You get natural mulch.
You do. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower's seed pod opens. The seed pod is the part in the middle of the flower that holds all the seeds. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind.
And
Where do you think
just
they're going?
Repeats itself.
It
all
is. It's
over
just
again.
a cycle. It's the life cycle of a flower.
How about that?
The end. All right. So every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So what I want you to do is, parents, you might have to help your child tri-fold a piece of paper. So you're going to have 3 sections when you're done folding it. So if you'll fold it and let them make the creases,
Okay.
because that really helps their fine motor muscles, and those are the muscles that we need when it's time for writing, and those are very important. So do that. And then in the first section, Greg, I want you to draw, right here,
Okay.
a picture of something that happened in the beginning of the story.
What we're going to do first is we're going to take a little break.
All
and
right.
When we come back, you get to see my beautiful artistic work unfold right in front of your eyes. We'll be right back. This is Distance Learning 101. Welcome back to Distance Learning 101, and today we are with Anna Taylor at ECEC. That's pre-K, in case I can't remember if I identified that or not. And it's one of my favorite schools to go to. Some days when I am just not on top of my game and I'm grouchy, I make an effort to go out there, and those kids just make me feel so much better. They're just
yes.
so sweet and
They're
loving.
so sweet. This is my 11th year there, and to be honest, I don't want to go anywhere else.
I can see why. It's such a fun place.
It's so fun, and the kids just make your day.
And it's amazing what they learn out there, and what I hear from parents of the kids that had children that both went there and didn't, and how further along the ones that go there seem to be. So you guys are doing a fantastic job, and thank you all for you doing, and for Haley Stewart's leadership out there. You guys have a great team.
Thank you, thank you. We love our team.
Now the bad. You're going to make me draw.
I am. All right, so this is something we would do in our classroom, and it's to check for comprehension of the story. So we just read the tiny seed. And now, Greg, I want you to think, and there are several things that happened at the beginning of the story. So will you draw on the first section of your paper just something that happened in the beginning of the story? And we can look back at those pictures to try to refresh our memory. Like, oh, there's some seeds flying through the air. Oh, and one got close to the sun. So
Burned.
And it burned, it did.
That's where we learn to get roasted sunflowers, right?
Exactly, that's where we get those things. While he's drawing, parents, there's another, if you don't want to do the drawing activity, you can go ahead, and I chose just some pictures in our book, and I drew them on some note cards. And so you can just pick a few things that happened in the book, and then you can have your child sequence these things that happened. So like the seeds flew through the air, and then one dropped in the water, then one dropped in the desert, and then the tiny seed eventually grows into a big flower. On the back of these, you can write the numbers of the order they're in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could also make this activity into a math game, and
Fun.
and with our number recognition and number order.
I love how, and several of the teachers have done this so far with the shows, you're incorporating art, math, music, everything together, and it's like, that's really cool. I wish I had that. I might have been a smarter student.
Well, we've learned that our children learn through different ways and different mediums, and so we like to accommodate all learners.
As Dr. Piku said, it's not a one-size-fits-all education.
Exactly.
And this is a great example of that. All right, so I have my first block. Do not laugh at my little...
I love your seeds. I think you did a great job. All right, so I'll just stop you there. We'll just go with the first one. All right, now when we're looking at our drawing, let's look. You drew, what did you draw?
Well, we talked about the wind carrying the seeds. And so we had a bunch of seeds, a lot of big seeds. Some got a little too close to the sun, and I'll actually show. And then I have my little seed that's just flying right along.
Exactly. So let's think, what could we say about that drawing? What could we say if we were going to sum that drawing up into one word?
Of the 5 things that...
No, just what would you say about your drawing?
It's sad.
about
the
when I
beginning.
look at it,
Okay.
I think of seed.
Seed, yeah.
Because it starts as a seed.
Seed.
So if you were a pre-Ker, we would, right now we're talking about the sounds that the letters make, and we're attempting to write words. So we would take that word and we'd stretch it out. Seed.
Get
So
two
let's think.
syllables out of it like you're trying to.
Right.
That
So
seed.
think about that first sound you heard. What was that first sound you hear in the word?
The S.
Yes.
Seed.
We heard the S, and we know that S says S. So write a S
Anywhere?
under your picture. There you go. So if your learner is a beginning learner, they could write an S to represent seed.
Okay.
So you're just having them write about what they've drawn, basically.
And then identify the letter. You can see S.
Right.
Seed with that.
Right, and you could even build on the words E. What did you hear next?
Gotcha.
The E, and E made by the E. So, and then the final sound, D, D,
The D.
and the D.
And you put it together.
And you put it together, and you get seed, and they've written the word seed, or their representation of
Right.
seed.
Right.
So that is something that you can do. Now, I won't torture you anymore with drawing.
We started. We're gonna finish this, baby. I've got my game on now.
You got your game on.
Okay, so now we're gonna do a middle, something that happened in the middle.
In the middle. So what happened in the middle?
My waves look pitiful.
I thought the same thing when I was making my drawing last night. It looked like a lot of shark teeth to me.
Or a bad hair day that we're all having.
Exactly.
Lately. Oh, there's my little seed. So we know that some of the seeds didn't make it because they got burned.
So what's happening to this seed?
This seed has lost its flying ability. Maybe the wind, it didn't get in the right, it wasn't drafted right. And so this seed, unfortunately, is becoming fish food. It's going to be in the water.
Yeah, that happened in the story. In the middle of the story, one of the seeds fell into the
But
ocean,
there's the little seed.
but the little seed's still blowing on.
Still making it.
All right, let's think about the end of the story. What happened at the end?
Well, we had a lot of things that happened.
We
at
did.
the end. The seeds went through their botany process.
They did.
And we had a beautiful flower. We had some weeds.
Yes.
One of the weeds blocked out poor little seed, took its soil, its air, and it got in its space.
It did.
It was rude.
It did.
And but the little seed, he thought he could, and he did, and he became a giant flower that the butterflies and the bees, and they need those plants.
They have to have that.
Got to have it, and it became a beautiful flower, and everybody all over came to see the beautiful flower.
Exactly.
Colorful, beautiful
A
flower.
beautiful, colorful flower. So that's what happened at in the end of the story. So you would draw that at the end.
I would draw
Or
that after.
choose which, whatever you would like to represent at that. Now, while you're drawing that, I'm going to talk about a science experiment you can do with seeds. So it's really easy. All you need are 2 beans. I have lima beans, 2 baggies, and 2 paper towels. And we know that, so you'll review the needs of a plant with your child. We need soil, air, water, light, space. So we're going to look at the light, why a plant needs light and what happens if a plant doesn't have light to grow. So you're going to let your child, again, fold the paper towel so it will fit nicely inside the Ziploc bag, because that folding is really helping their fine motor, and we want to build those so they can be nice writers. And so once it fits in there, you dampen the paper towel, have them stick it back in there, and you're going to put one of the seeds or beans onto the damp paper towel. And you're going to find a place in your house where light is, in a windowsill, in a door, wherever there's light.
Hole in the ceiling.
A hole in the ceiling. I hope you don't have a hole in the ceiling unless it's a skylight. All right, the next one, Do the same process. Get your paper towel wet, fold it up, put it in the Ziploc bag with the bean. And now have your child put this in a dark spot, in a closet, in a cabinet, wherever it's dark and you won't have any light. Throughout the week, you're gonna leave it in there for a week, and every day, you're gonna check on them and see which one's growing. Is the one in the light growing fastest or the one in the dark? I made a little seed observation journal, and you can do that with your child. You'll have to probably write the words, or you can let them write the words, and then let them illustrate on the cover. I have day 1, I have light, and then I have dark. And so they'll just draw a simple little picture of what's happening in the bags.
Now, one of the cool things you guys have out at ECEC, you got your gardens.
Yes.
So do you incorporate some of the lessons
Yes.
with the gardens that
Yes.
you guys have?
Yes. We would definitely, if we were at school right now, we would definitely be out in those gardens planting our seeds and observing them grow and even measuring them and seeing
Pulling weeds.
And pulling weeds, yes. They love to pull weeds. All right, so that's that. And finally, one of our activities we can do is an art extension. And so Eric Carl uses the medium of collage to illustrate his pictures. So you'll have your child, you're gonna make Eric Carl inspired flowers, have your child paint some paper, and then you tell them what shape to draw, and they'll cut those shapes out to create a flower.
Awesome.
So.
That was a lot of fun. Now, Miss Stafford, if you're watching, I don't want you to get jealous or anything, but
Let's see your final product. I think you did a
Final
fabulous job.
I will be accepting bids for the murals downtown at any day.
I think you did great, Greg.
Well, thank you. You did too. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today and sharing your classroom with us. And I know you miss your students.
Oh, I do.
It's awful, but everybody's doing great, and we're powering forward, and we're at least able to still give them things to do.
Yes, yes.
All right. For ECEC and Ms. Taylor, I'm Greg Ellis. We hope you come back and watch us again. And thank you so much to ABC and WTVA for making this possible.